Surf, sun, and sand. Great food, a Ferris wheel, rides, games, and fun, fun, fun. That's what's in store for you at the Musquamacut Fall Festival, September 16th, 17th, and 18th at Musquamacut State Beach. The Musquamacut Fall Festival is a family-friendly event with carnival rides, karate demos, arts and crafts, a food truck rodeo, non-stop music, chainsaw wood carving, and so much more. Visit MusquamacutFestival.org for more information.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. My name is Ben Barber, and I am very excited to be giving you Fall Fest updates and previews all week long. Today, I am very excited because the person that I'm talking to is just like I got to speak to him last year and got to meet him for the first time, and just absolutely one of my favorite interviews, one of my favorite people to interview. He will be headlining Friday night at 8 p.m. at Fall Fest, Friday, September 16th. That is this Friday. Just in a couple days with Jeff Slate's Weekend Wilburys. We're going to ask him all about that and a whole lot more. He is an ASCAP award-winning songwriter. He has done way more things than I can actually like physically mention to you and keep this an hour long, not an hour long, keep this under like 2 hours, and it's not going to be anywhere near that long, but that's how many things he has accomplished. He is a writer, a performer, just an author, so many amazing things. Let me just bring him on and let him talk about himself because he could do it better than I ever could. Jeff Slate, how are you, Jeff?
I don't know that I could. I love that you got tongue-tied on my introduction. I don't know which was better, the introduction or the little video you play of the Fall Fest before we started. I love that. I love the little package there. It's very cool.
Thanks. I'll take credit for that as well. I didn't make it, but I'll take credit for it. So ASCAP award-winning singer-songwriter. In the 80s, you co-founded the Midnight Thinkers. You released the Townsend tapes with Peter Townsend as an executive producer. You opened for Sheryl Crow. Your music's been heard in ad campaigns, movies, television shows such as Gossip Girl. You've been a regular contributor to the Wall Street Journal, The New Yorker, Esquire, Rolling Stone, other publications. You've appeared on television and radio shows. What don't you do, Jeff? Let's make it what don't you do?
I do anything that pays the bills. Like any of us in 2022, I do what they ask me if there's a check involved. No, I was very lucky. I'm going to correct you. The band in the 80s was the Mindless Thinkers. We were based in New London, Connecticut. Oh my God. No, it's okay. It's a good story, actually. We were based in New London, Connecticut. We were about 17 years old. We'd gone to see Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols. We'd gone to see his band at the Living Room in Providence. It was called Checkered Past. People can look it up. It was a crazy, wild 80s band. And he was drunk and we were young and asked him for a name, and that's the name he gave us for the band. And I'm still friends with Steve, and we joke about it. Like, he has no recollection of it. I have a vague recollection of it. But the Mindless Thinkers was my first professional band, and we played all over the East Coast. We played many times in Westerly and Musquamacut. We played all the colleges in New England and just about every bar from the Rat to the Channel and everything in between. The old LNG in New London, back in the day. And I'm trying to think of the one in New Haven. But anyway, that was my start. And then I ended up not too long after that in New York City, and I met Pete Townsend, and I did some stuff with him. I went on tour with Sheryl Crow for a while. I was in the Badge for about 10 years, which was mainly popular in the UK and Europe, but did a little bit of business here. And that's the music that got picked up in Gossip Girl and One Tree Hill and a couple other shows. And then, when the music business changed in the 2000s, and I had kids and couldn't really go on the road, I started writing about music. So I interviewed Ringo and Jimmy Page and Robert Plant and all members of Pink Floyd and just about everybody and anybody in between. So and that's to this day that's what I do. And I'm a guest host on Sirius XM. Shout out to my friends at Sirius. And anything that keeps the lights on. But my first love and my true love is playing in a band and playing live music for big crowds of people, which we will have. The weather looks promising.
It does. So, it looks promising.
Yeah, well, promising is better than not. So, we've had a few. I mean, we've gone on in tornadoes practically a couple of years ago. There was one, I can't remember what was going on, but there was flooding and the whole thing. And by the time of the shows, it had stopped raining, and we went on. We played with, I think, Marty Ballin was the guest that year for Fallfest. I think that was about 10 years ago. And it turned out great. I mean, it wasn't super well attended, but, we had a tent and the electricity didn't shock us. So it was okay. But this weekend looks phenomenal weather. So everybody get their tickets right away.
Absolutely. Yeah. Fun fact, if you buy your tickets, the sooner you buy your tickets, the better the weather will be guaranteed to be. I don't know. I don't make the rules, but I spoke to the meteorologists and they said,
and they're never wrong. So there you go.
They're never wrong. And they said that the sooner that you buy your tickets, the better chance that it will be great weather throughout the weekend. When you buy your ticket, you lock in whatever the forecast is at that moment.
That's good. I like that. Okay.
I should put a scroll like this.
Disclaimer.
Opinions of, Not true.
Yeah.
Although historically, this is our 24th festival.
Wow.
In Mesquamaket of the Spring Fest and Fall Fests. And historically, I do believe that Fall Fest usually has better weather than Spring Fest. And that might not be a historically accurate fact, but it feels true to me as someone who's been to over a dozen of them now. It always feels like fall is fall's a little bit nicer to us.
I think you're right. I think the one I was talking about with the hurricane-ish weather was actually Springfest. I think you might be right about that. So there you go. And the nice thing about the Fall Fest is September in Mesquamaket is always like perfect weather when you get a good day. So fingers crossed. We're gonna jinx it. We're talking way too much about the weather.
We're talking way too much about the weather. I was at the beach. I was at the beach this past weekend, and Fall Fest will change sometimes from but since it was the 9th, 10th, and 11th this past weekend, it wouldn't have been that. It has to be the next weekend. And I was like, man, it's perfect. It's like 80 right now, and like the beach is packed in general. And I was like, don't say this out loud. You will jinx next weekend. But it looks good.
I thought the same thing because I was in Atlantic City. We went to see John Fogerty in Atlantic City, which was pretty amazing. And walking around there, I was like, fingers crossed we get a weekend like this next week. So
yeah. Speaking of weekends, tell me a little bit about Jeff Slate's weekend Wilburys.
Well, it's essentially the same band, but we were looking for something a little bit different to do because we play a lot of the same places every summer, and you can't just do the same old songs. And the great Caswell Cook contacted me and said, what are you pitching this year? And I told him, and it's pegged to the traveling Wilburys, who were obviously George Harrison, Bob Dylan, Tom Petty, Roy Orbison, and Jeff Lynne. But what we do is a couple of Wilbury songs, but songs from all of their catalogs. So you get a couple of Bob Dylan songs, a couple of Tom Petty songs, ELO's song from Jeff Lynne, Roy Orbison. You get everybody who was in the Wilburys. You get a sprinkling of all their songs over a 2 hour or so show. So it's a pretty good batch of songs.
Of course. Oh yeah. That's an understatement. You are incredibly talented at everything that you do. As we talked about earlier, you're a man of many trades. But you are a fantastic musician and songwriter. And do you have a favorite style to play? Do you have a favorite artist? Do you prefer the originals? Do you prefer when you're doing something like the Weekend Wilburys? Like, what do you prefer when you're performing?
Well, I mean, I'm new to playing cover songs. I had always been in bands that played 100% original music up until a few years ago. But I really enjoy, the songs that we cover, the artists that we play. I love playing those songs. There's nothing better than playing, sort of American Girl or like a Rolling Stone or whatever it is. They're just amazing songs, and people love them, and I love them. But classic rock is my thing. All of the Wilburys are favorites of mine. But I have pretty varied taste. I grew up in kind of a strange household where my brother and sister were hippies, and I inherited their record collection. And then my brother-in-law was a jazz session trumpet player, but he also played with a lot of soul and R&B bands in the 70s when I was growing up. So I would inherit the records he had to learn from the Isley Brothers and Bill Withers and Bobby Womack and people like that. So I have a really eclectic taste that's a little bit stuck in the early 70s. But that was such a great golden age for music. You're always discovering something new within that sort of period. So there were just so many great records made. But that's my wheelhouse. That kind of old school R&B and soul, and also the classic rock that we all kind of love, built around the Beatles and the Who and the Kinks and all the Wilburys.
Awesome. I'm excited. What are you working on right now outside of music that you are excited about?
Yeah, well, like I said, I just interviewed John Fogerty for the Daily Beast. That'll be coming out, I believe, this weekend, around the time of the Fallfest. I just interviewed Linda Ronstadt. That'll be coming out next month. Also for the Daily Beast, I'm working on a book with Earl Slick, David Bowie's guitar player, who I play with in a band as well. So we're all buddies. We've known each other almost 20 years. And so that was a labor of love as much as it was anything else. That's coming out in 2024 because books take a while to come out. I've done liner notes for the Beatles and Bob Dylan and the Rolling Stones and Stax. So I'm going to be doing some more of those type projects, working on some liner notes now. There's some shuffling going on at Sirius, but I hope to be back on the air in the next month or so doing what I do there. So it's a busy time. And then I forget this, but I also made, during the pandemic, I made a record with some of the guys from Noel Gallagher's band and Paul Weller's band, the English, the Mod Father, and some of the guys from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. And that will be coming out, I think, in April 2023. There's a new single that will be coming out next month. We put out a single in April of Ronnie Lane's song, The Poacher. Busy. I'm going to be touring for that next year, both here and in England and Europe. So, like I said, anything that sort of keeps the lights on and that I don't have to do a real job, I'm good with that.
It's funny when you don't have a real job and instead you have 75,000 of them, Jeff. You may very well be one of the hardest working people in show business. Well,
I tell my kids, if you can find something, and many people have said this to me in the arts, but if you can find something you truly love and you can just, if you like I said, keep the lights on. If you can pay the bills with what you do and it's something you truly love, it never really feels like work. I mean, people may think that, Fallfest is exciting, and we played Woodbridge, New Jersey. People can look that up online. The whole concert was filmed and posted on YouTube. The Weekend Wilburys did. And but it's not the 2 hours you're on stage. It's the 22 getting there and setting up and doing the sound check and, all the other stuff that goes into it, because it is work and it is stressful. However, it's absolutely a blessing to be able to do that kind of work as opposed to some of the other things that I've done in my past that we all do when we need, you gotta have a job. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that, for the second year in a row, the most excited that I am for a concert at Fallfest is yours. I'm very excited. I will make sure that I am there on Friday night to say hello in person and to catch that. Also, I'm gonna put a little bit of this on screen right now just so that people can see it. This is Jeff and the Weekend Wilburys in New Jersey. I believe. And yeah, take a look at that. It is fantastic. Jeff, it's a pleasure always, and I loved hearing that story, especially about the mindless thinkers and how sort of your, thanks to thanks to Steve, your professional music career kind of started in Rhode Island a little bit with that night in Providence.
It is true, and I'm trying to remember the place that we used to play down. We used to play in Westerly and Mesquamaket, but this was like 84, 85. I cannot. It was right on the beach too, and I can't remember the name of it. It was a.
Was it the Atlantis?
It might have been the Atlantis. Yeah, that sounds about right.
If anybody's watching this from Mesquamaket that I got that wrong and you're mad at me, send all of your hate mail to Caswell Cook at Yahoo, Caswell Cook Jr. at like Yahoo or Hotmail or whatever he uses.
Don't do that. Don't do that. He's got enough.
No. Send the hate mail to Caswell, please.
Okay.
It's good.
He hired you.
Exactly. Yeah. Anything that goes wrong at the beach, Caswell's fault.
There you go. And if it goes right, we'll take credit.
We will take credit. It is, if anything goes right throughout the whole rest of the year, next summer, all summer, everything that goes right, any day that you're enjoying
if the weather is great this weekend, Ben and I blessed it. If it's not so great, then it's Caswell. Right, exactly. I got it.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to get where you're coming from.
If it was terrible, if it was Caswell, if it was great, it was Ben and Jeff. Or you know what? Jeff and Ben. I'm not a glory hog. Jeff and Ben. Thank you so much.
Ben and Jeff sounds better because it's got the Ben and Jerry's thing. It's like cool.
That's true. My best friend growing up name was my best friend growing up's name was Jerry.
Oh God, how bad did you get teased?
A lot. Luckily, our other best friend's name was Tom, so Jerry was screwed either way.
Right.
Whether he was with Tom or Ben, he got screwed. But
Oh my God.
Anyway, Jeff, always a pleasure to talk to you. I can't wait to see you and the Weekend Wilburys Friday night at 8 p.m. Opening up Fallfest on the main stage in all your glory. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I can't wait to hear you once you get back on Sirius soon, and just catch up again. And I can't wait to talk to you next time you come, because I'm sure that Caswell will be banging down your door to get you back at Springfest.
There will be more. I have to say, you guys put on a great event there, and Caswell is amazing and treats us incredibly well. We're going to be at the Pleasant View Inn, which we love. It's just such a great place to stay. We get to enjoy the day at pre-Fall Fest before we play. But the crowds are always great. I encourage people to get their tickets ahead of time. It's going to be a great evening. It's great. I bring my whole family. All the band loves it. We wander around and enjoy it. It's just such a great, it's a great place to be at the end of the summer and say hi to all the folks. And so we look forward to it every year, and no less so this year.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jeff. And that's a good reminder to everybody. Bring your family. Fallfest is for everybody. Bring your family. If
it's a family-friendly show. Even though it's rock and roll, it's a little bit loud. The kids certainly will enjoy it, and they'll probably know some of the songs. They're pretty well known tunes.
Yeah, of course you will. Of course you will. I mean, it's I know that you're used to playing originals, and obviously those are amazing. As we started off, you are an award-winning songwriter. But if you're gonna play some covers, I mean, you really can't pick a single better group of people to be pulling songs from, and that's going to be wonderful. It's going to be entertaining for the whole family, or just for you, or for you and your significant other. No matter what the situation is, come to Fall Fest. And just a reminder, if you buy your tickets right now, you lock in the forecast for the weekend of whatever it says today. So
you're going to triple down on that.
I'm tripling down on it, and send your hate mail to caswellcook@yahoo.com. Thank you so much, Jeff.
Thank you.
Wait, hold on. Where can people find out more about you? Where can they buy your stuff? Where all of that?
Jeff, we will have a merch table, I'm sure, at the event, but jeffslatehq.com or at Jeff Slate on any of the social medias, they can find me.
Awesome. And I'm going to link all of that in the description of this video. Thank you, Jeff. We'll see you on Friday.
Thanks. Have a great week.
Thanks. Bye for now. All right, guys, we'll be back with more Fall Fest preview. Thank you, the incredible Jeff Slate. Check him out Friday night, 8 p.m. That's it for now. Bye.
Surf, sun, and sand. Great food, a Ferris wheel, rides, games, and fun, fun, fun. That's what's in store for you at the Musquamacut Fall Festival, September 16th, 17th, and 18th at Musquamacut State Beach. The Musquamacut Fall Festival is a family-friendly event with carnival rides, karate demos, arts and crafts, a food truck rodeo, non-stop music, chainsaw wood carving, and so much more. Visit MusquamaCutFestival.org for more information.